Well, hello everybody. In this video, we are going to be learning how to install a dishwasher. And I'd like to welcome you to our training center. This is where we train our new employees when they come to work for us, before we actually let them go into the field and do stuff. This is not a real house. I've had a lot of people in some videos think that I'm actually working on a project out in reality. Well, this is a mock-up of a house that basically we built inside of a metal building. I'm actually inside of a metal building, inside of a little house. This is so we can do these things over and over again, and if we have any accidents, it doesn't happen out in a residence. It happens here in our little place. So let's get started. Tools, what are you going to need? Well, first of all, I would say a drill. Get you a drill. You're going to want to use a hole saw kit of some kind. You can do this with paddle bits, but you got to be careful because you don't want to tear your cabinet up. If it's your cabinet, it's your cabinet, but we do this for new construction residential housings that is not our house. It's our job. So use your hole saw kit. It gives you a nice cleaner cut. You're going to need a screwdriver and a pair of channel lock pliers. When mounting this dishwasher, I highly recommend using just a screwdriver, or drill some pilot holes. You might want to go get some little drill bits to drill some pilot holes. A level. Now, you're going to want it to be level when you get done. The sides, the top, you're going to want it to be level, but match the cabinet. Try to get it to match. If the cabinet's a little crooked or whatever, get your lines on the edge and on the tops to match the cabinet, and there's feet on this, and we'll go through all of that. The other thing you're going to need is your dishwasher supply line. Now, most of these, when you buy them, they come with some type of dishwasher L. That's what we call it. It's an elbow. There are two different kinds. There's this one here, which is the old kind, and they've got this new kind. Let's see if I can get this one. It's just like a hose thing. Most of your new dishwashers are going to have this style dishwasher L. It just kind of screws on with a gasket with a hose. This is the older style. So depending on what brand of dishwasher, you might have either or. Alright, well, the water's got to come in, the water's got to go out. Now, most of your dishwashers, pretty much all of them, are going to have a drain hose attached to them that you're going to attach to either a dishwasher tailpiece or the garbage disposal. Most of the time, it's going to be the port on the garbage disposal. So to do that, you're going to need a hose clamp. It does not come with these things. These are extra little things that you have to get to be able to install this thing. Something that came in the box that I thought was really weird, and I had never seen it before, they gave you a little piece of wood, and I was like, what is that? This is actually, if you have a granite countertop and you're going to top mount it, sometimes you don't have any choice. You have to top mount it or side mount it, and some of them are just set up for top mount. This one's just set up for top mount. So they gave you this little board that you can hook in to your cabinet. So it gives you something to screw to if you're dealing with a granite countertop. But that's just neat. Let's see, let's open this thing up. There's always some little goodies. See, it's not mounted yet. They've always got some little old goodies in here. Reach in here, grab your little goodie bag. There should be 2 screws in this. Now, the only thing you really need out of here as the installer is those 2 little pan head screws to anchor this thing to the top so it doesn't fall out like you just saw it do. But, I guess the only thing to do now is just get started. We have to drill our cabinet. A couple things I want to talk about first. Well, like I said, you've got your dishwasher supply line. This is a small braided hose. And then on your dishwasher here, you have this drain. Now, you have to get your drain hose through this cabinet and your water line through the cabinet. Now, let's see if we can open this guy up here. We're going to want to drill it in the back corner of this cabinet. Now, with this drain hose, just remember, guys, everything's got a little piece of paper that tells you how to put it together if you can't figure it out. Drain hose. One of the rules with drain hoses and your inspectors when they come to look at this, This has to be looped high is what they call it. Now you can drill one big hole at the bottom and put both of these lines through that hole if you wanted to, but then you're gonna have to take some kind of strap, a zip tie, something. No, you can't use metal. It can't be a metal strap, hanging iron strap. You gotta use like a plastic zip tie or bread tie or something like that. But you're gonna have to loop this up high up here under the back of the sink so that it doesn't backflow. Your sink and your garbage disposal, when you're running your garbage disposal, if you get water back up in this tube from your sink, it's not gonna blow that nasty water into the bottom of your dishwasher. I've seen it a bunch where people just run it down low and then go up into the garbage disposal. And then when people run the garbage disposal, it blows food and stuff, nasty stuff all down in this hose. It filled the bottom of the dishwasher up. And that stuff can rot and get to smelling really, really bad, really quick. So the code is to loop it up high. That way it can't go back up and down into your dishwasher. Let's drill our holes. So go ahead and get you a good hole saw kit. Get something that'll last for a little while. Something in a case, something that's just rolling around. I recommend spending the money. Now, what I'm gonna do, just out of experience, I'm gonna drill a small hole at the bottom for my water line, because you only got so much line. And since I've got to loop this thing up high, I'm gonna drill me a hole way up here at the top for this drain line. So pick out your bits. I would get one that's pretty much just a little bit bigger than the hose that's going through it. So this is going to be good for our water line, and this a little bit bigger. That one right there should be pretty good for your drain hose. So let's drill some holes. All right, something I'd like to say that I didn't say before, always drill, when you're drilling something, drill from the side you're gonna see, because this thing can have kind of a blowout on the back of it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's gonna pop part of the back of that cabinet off when you drill it. So your finish edge, you wanna drill from your finished side through. Alright, well there you go. We have our little hole at the bottom for our supply line, and we have our hole at the top for our drain line. Let's start with our supply line. Now, yes, I've flipped this thing over, and yes, you can do this to a dishwasher and you're not gonna hurt it. Just remember, these things are tested with water at the factory. So if you go to flip one of these things on its side, or you flip it upside down, there's gonna be maybe about a half a cup of water in it. And if you're in a house and you're on a finished floor, finished nice wooden floor or something like that, you're gonna wanna be careful about that. If it's still in the cardboard box and you flip it over on its side, you're gonna get your cardboard box soaking wet. I've already flipped this one over a few times, so I don't have to worry about water being in it. But we're gonna start right here. This one is actually the newer style, which is actually a lot easier to deal with. It's this hose type style versus the old dishwasher L. Now, if it was the old style, I would have to Teflon tape this to get it to seal. With this one, there's a rubber O-ring hose washer right there. So you pretty much could do this by hand. But before hooking it to there, what I highly recommend doing is go ahead and get your supply line out. I would take these tags off. I think it's a real simple step to just tear it off of there. Some people think, oh, it's brand new, it's got tags on it, but for me, it's not for me. All right, your dishwasher supply is just like lavatories and toilets, there's a little O-ring in there, a little grommet. It's a tapered washer. Go ahead and put this part together. Here's where your channel locks come into play, and you can grab that pretty good. It doesn't have to be tight, but you want it pretty snug. But that little rubber piece is what's going to hold you, and this, just like a garden hose, screws on there. Now, I know my strength and hand tight is probably going to be good enough, but you don't want this thing to leak on you. You don't ever want anything to leak on you. So go ahead and grab your channel locks. Once you get that thing tight, grab it with your channel locks and twist it just a few more turns. It's better safe than sorry. Now you've got your supply line hooked up, ready to go. You've actually got your drain line down here, but I think I'm sitting on it. So let's go ahead and push this through the cabinet. All right, hopefully I can do this without getting too much in the way. Supply line, bottom hole. Go ahead and shove it in there as much as you can. Drain hose, top hole, lots of hose. Oh, get out of the way. All right, you're prepped. We are almost done. Things to watch out here for when doing this. This is a piece of insulation mat. It's not really fiberglass. I don't know what it is. It's something. But you are going to want to make sure that this stays down and around, and it's tucked in, it's not poking out, that it's covering it completely. This is for the thermal insulation part of it, because you know these things do run off of hot water. This is also a sound dampener too. Insulation does both. It protects the heat, and it's also a sound shield. So we're just going to push this thing back. Be careful if you're on a finished, really highly finished, polished, nice floor. You might want to put a piece of cardboard or something down under here on your feet when you push it in. But most of the time, the floor stops right here at the cabinet. It doesn't go up underneath. So once you get the back 2 feet in, you can just slide it on in here. Now, I don't have a flooring that I have to worry about here, so I can just kind of push it in. Now, our hoses and stuff should still be poking through. Go ahead and pull them on out. Make sure they're there before you do anything else. I have a massive gap right here, so let's fix that, okay? All right. I feel like my camera keeps getting lower and lower and lower to the floor. You got a kick panel right here, and on either end is 2 tiny little screws. Sometimes you can use the nut driver part to get on them. They may be too small, but let's see if we can do this without getting in the way of the camera too much. Take your little screw out. Now hang on to that, don't lose that. You can't really get any more of those. What I normally do is I put them right up here where they won't go nowhere. And then you can pull this off and get, there's another piece of insulation and sound dampener underneath there. This is a little black trim thing, which we're going to have to use because we're going to go up. Now, there's little feet here that you have to turn. You could fight at it like this if you want to. And you may have to do this when you get to the final stages and you're leveling up. Give it a little turn, little turn, little turn. But I've got almost a whole inch, probably more than an inch, that I've got to go up there. So I am going to pull this thing back out and make it easy. Right here are your little feet. This is what is going to do your adjustment. Now, when you first take this thing out of the box, these are probably going to be really tough. You're not just going to walk up and spin it like that. You're going to have to put your channel locks on it and give it a little turn. I've already broke these free, so So they should spin right on out. And remember how much that gap we had? Just go ahead and try to match that with all 4 of them. You can put a measuring tape on this if you want to. Come on, this one's being a little difficult. Not wanting to spin. There are 4 feet down here. These are also used to level it. You know, you're not going to always be at the same height with every foot. You might have one a little taller or a little shorter than the other ones. All right, let's see how that does for us. This is hard to do and stay out of the way of the camera. All right, that looks pretty good. But something I'm noticing here, this leg is out of whack. Don't do that in front of the homeowner though. Flip out. White edge right here. Take something and poke that insulation back down in there. Make sure you don't poke it too far. Well, I'm gonna say that looks pretty good. Let's put the level on it. Looks pretty good. It's not gonna want to go on that side. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's level. But make sure with this, level or not level, match the cabinet. Match this gap all the way up right around here. Match the gap at the top. Match the gap at the side. You might want to put a level on this cabinet leg over here, because they could be off. That's just a little flimsy thing anyway. All right, next step. All right, now it's time for the little screws that came in the pack there with the instructions and stuff. Now, if you're gonna do these, I highly recommend that you do not use an impact screwdriver, that you screw these in by hand, especially when you're dealing with this flimsy cabinet stuff. These are good cabinets, but that's not a whole lot of board, especially if you're trying to side mount them. This one's a top mount. This is what you're going to see the most of. Make sure you have all that lined up right. And get your drill. A little drill bit. Find your little hole up here. Get you a little starter hole. Don't drill it too big. Then you will pop your screws out. Screw that in. These are special screws. They're flat on top so the door doesn't hit it. Don't lose the screws. They're really hard to get a hold of. Alright, that's it. And what that should do is stop us from falling forward. This next part is going to be really, really difficult to show you because it is right up under there. And this is where you wire it up electrically. Now, this is not something new construction plumbers typically do because you have electricians there working with you and the electrician is going to handle this part. But we can try. Little screw right here on the side that you have to undo. This is a really difficult camera shot. All right, there's the wires for, if you can see them, there's the wires for your dishwasher. Now, you're probably gonna have a piece of yellow Romex laying here. If not, sometimes they give you an outlet behind here. I apologize, this thing's zooming in and out. And you might have to wire up a plug to it, or it may come with a plug. But let's go over that real quick. We're not gonna do it under here though. Oh, got a hole in the floor now. All right, your wiring. Now, you can't do it like this in the field. You're gonna have to do it in that little box underneath. But basically, white to white, wire nut, get it on there, screw that down tight, pull on it. Pull on the white and the white, pull on it. Make sure it doesn't come apart. That means you got a good connection. See, these things come apart all the time. Black to black. Screw that down, nice and tight. Pull on it. Pull on that black wire. Black and black, pull on it. Way, it's good. Now you're gonna have to do this inside that little box. Now your green wire, your ground, this is your earth ground. There's a little green nut under there. You're gonna hook this to that little green nut. And you're pretty much done with wiring it. You gotta put this box back together. If an inspector comes along, we're new construction, remember, we have inspectors to deal with, and he sees wires hanging out like that, he's gonna fail you. So you have to put it back in this box. All right, now we're gonna put this piece back together. Sometimes this can be kind of a little pain because you gotta line up those holes. You gotta find your holes. There's one hole. Go ahead. Sorry if I'm in the way. Just remember to put your panel back on so you're all nice and clean. That edge is laying on the floor the way it's supposed to be. You know, this is one of those things that ain't nobody really gonna pay a whole lot of attention to it, but if it's not there, they're gonna let you know. All right, let's finish this up. Your supply line, your water line coming in. Now, I'm not gonna do this in this cabinet here because it's kind of tight and I want y'all to be able to see what I'm talking about. Under the sink here, this one's still at rough end, it's still stub outs, and they haven't been cut and crimped their stops on. But you're gonna have a stop like this. You should have 3 of them, a cold, a hot, and a second hot down at the bottom. The lower one is gonna be your dishwasher one. Now, if you're having an older house, you had an existing dishwasher, you're probably gonna have something they call an add a T poking up out of here, and it's just a little brass T that you add a T to hook up a dishwasher or an ice maker or something like that if it's an older house and you didn't have one. But the 2 hots is something that we do in new construction. This is real simple. It's just like any stop. Your toilet supplies, your lavatory, your kitchen sinks, all the stops inside your house are pretty much the same. There are other ones out there. There are different sizes. But just get that on there hand tight. Take your channel locks, turn it another good turn, and turn it on. First time you turn it on, it's going to go foomp. And they all do that. They that very first time, because it's blowing the air out, they'll go foomp. And you know it's got water hitting the bottom of your dishwasher there. All right, the next thing would be your drain. Here's your drain piece. Remember that little old hose clampy? Go ahead and put that on. You might have to back it up a little bit. It may be a little tight, which this one kind of is. I highly recommend your 6-in-1s and your 9-in-1 screwdrivers for doing plumbing, because you will use pretty much all of those different pieces. So get that kind of where you want it. Get it where it's facing you. Don't turn it around backwards the other way, because then you'd be fighting behind the thing. Always make it easy for yourself. Now this is set up to go either in one of these guys, which is a dishwasher tailpiece, and it would pop right in on there, and you would tighten that down, and that would work great for you if you do not have a garbage disposal. But if you do have a garbage disposals come with one already on here for you. Now, if you don't have a dishwasher, you're not going to mess with this. You're going to leave this alone, because there is a plug in there. Hooking up a dishwasher, you have to take a screwdriver or something and pop it. And knock that plug on out, and you'll knock it up into here. Make sure you get that plug out. If you're on site and you're doing the whole kitchen sink and you're doing the garbage disposal and you got a dishwasher there ready to roll for you, go ahead when you got this on your lap, boom, knock that plug out, catch it in your hand and trash it. But if this is already mounted and you're trying to hook this hose up, remember to knock that plug out and then go fishing for it. You got to go get that plug, because this garbage disposal is not going to eat that plastic plug. I've been on so many warranty calls where they thought the thing was broken, and no, it's just that plug slapping around in there. But this is real easy. It just pops on there, tighten it up, and when you're done with all of this, the last thing you're going to want to do, this extra lines, push it back up into the cabinet. Make it look pretty. Alright, well that concludes this video on how to install a dishwasher. I hope I made it really simple. I hope you have learned something and know how to do this now. And here's the test for me. Yay, didn't make any beeping noises, but the lights did come on. This dishwasher is ready to roll. Thanks a lot.